I am Frederick, and I'm going to talk about speech recognition as it is featured in the 1995 Gartner Hype Cycle. Speech recognition is a technology which could be explained as linguistics meets computer science. It is a computer system which, in its most basic form, translates spoken language into text. But nowadays we might rather think about speech recognition as in speech-to-computer commands. And in later editions of the Gartner Hype Cycle, they've split speech recognition into several fields, but I will go into that in a few minutes. For the technically inclined, I'll mention the details of the technology. A part of speech is recorded and converted from analog to digital signals, which are then separated into frequency bands. These bands are then sorted into short samples that resemble vowels, consonants, and other sounds we use for spoken language. The samples are then matched to programmed phonemes in the appropriate language. And then, with the help of statistical models, a computer figures out in which context these phonemes should be put together to form a readable sentence. Since the 1995 Gartner report, speech recognition has had somewhat of a delayed start. The once promising technology did not see much improvement in over a decade, and the hype started to fade away before a blip on the radar forewarned us on its reawakening. A few companies have relied on its technology. Nuance, for example, was founded in 1997 and has managed to develop and maintain its Dragon naturally speaking engine ever since. Another company, Spinvox, claimed in the late 2000s to have a service sensor that used speech recognitions and the combination of AI to translate voicemail recordings into readable text. The claims turned out to be somewhat on the optimistical side, however, as most work was done by call center workers themselves. The appeal quickly faded away until Spinvox was acquired by Nuance in 2011. In defense and military, DARPA launched a $13 million contract to SRI's STAR, Speech Technology and Research Laboratory, in order to advance the development in speech recognition in 2011. What DARPA wanted was someone to make the technology sophisticated enough to identify a speaker in his or her language to track specific keywords in any type of garbled audio recordings with high noise ratio. With advancements in neural network AIs to simplify statistical models, the maturity of speech recognition has taken quite a leap the last few months. The main use of speech recognition I could find today is within the telecom industry, where it is often used as a filtering service to steer calls, take voice commands, and relay information to callers, thereby reducing the need for call center employees. Other uses can be found in a host of so-called voice-enabled desktop systems, which use it for commands and dictation. Speech recognition is also used for automated identification systems. With the latest improvements of speech recognition, we have seen some major operating systems developers included in their software, with Microsoft's Cortana, Apple Siri, and Google Now. It's also popping up in web services and search engine boxes as an alternative input method. Speech recognition currently does what it says on the tin. It just isn't very good at it. The internet is buzzing with just how laughably bad the performance of Siri and Google Now sometimes are. There are still problems to solve in order for better systems to arise. The noise-to-signal ratio needs to improve before the technology could decipher fluent conversations with overlapping voices, which will allow direct language-to-language translations and intelligent conversations with machines. I could imagine a great potential for a naturally speaking and communicating computer system in the future. Call centers could be entirely run by computing systems, and computer input would no longer need buttons. Science fiction dreams will finally come to life and we'd be able to converse with autonomous computer systems. But there is still work to be done. The statistical models that speech recognition software depends on today needs a lot of computer power to not run, and they do not handle slang very well. Also, the level of accuracy decreases in proportion to noise-to-signal ratio. When speech recognition technology was introduced in the first 1995 Gartner Hype Cycle report, it was introduced in the slope of enlightenment. It wasn't new technology by any stretch of the imagination, but businesses were expected to start using the technology for their products and services, with some weathered learning experiences along the way. It never really took off, however, and stayed in the same position for quite some time. It was not until more than 15 years later, when the deep neural networks could work out more effective statistical models, where we have seen improvement in speech recognition accuracy, which has led to its recent increase in maturity. It is no longer featured in the newest Gartner reports for a number of reasons. Firstly, I think it still is in the same position in the slope of enlightenment. But a few sub-technologies have come along: the natural language question and answering, speech-to-speech and people-literal technology, which all theoretically include basic speech recognition functions in one way or another. PLTs is now right at the innovation trigger point, so the cycle begins again. The way the technology is going, however, is rather than to understand your spoken language, the computer systems are expected to understand human behavior, to turn AIs into the science fiction staples we all love and recognize. Thank you for watching.